All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Hey, I want to do a quick video just to share with y'all a really nice experience that I had this past weekend doing a signing. And it was really general notary work. It wasn't anything dealing with loan closings. So Saturday, I was just sitting here chilling in the office here, just chilling. Me and the wife was talking and looking at something on TV, and phone call came in, and as always, I answered it. Griffin Notary Services, and a young lady was asking about notary services for an adoption. She said, "We're doing an adoption tonight at the hospital. Can you come?" I was like, "No problem. What time?" She told me what time. I think it was 8:30 p.m. This is like maybe 5 o'clock or so. And I said, "Sure, not a problem at all." Yeah, it was about five, maybe six, something like that, between 5 and 6, something like that. I said, "Sure, I'll be more than happy to come." She asked me how much. I said, $5 per stamp, $20 travel fee. Now, I've never done one of these before. I was not scared, afraid, or anything because I understood one thing. As long as I know how to properly notarize, there is no issue, because it's going to be documents that she's going to explain to the customer or to her customer, to those people, and then all I got to do is sign and stamp accordingly. That's all I got to do. As long as everybody got the IDs, boom, da boom, bada bing, we're good. And that's overall, in a nutshell, what happened. But I want to share with y'all some details just in case you may come across the opportunity to do a adoption. So I gotta grab this. Hold on. All right, hold on. All right. So I had to grab something because I know I'm gonna need to show y'all in a second. Set you over here. All right. So first of all, you need to make sure you have plenty of all-purpose acknowledgments and jurats, okay? That's what you need to make sure you have. All-purpose acknowledgement, jurats, make sure you have plenty of those, at least 20 each, just in case, because the reason why, you don't know whether or not the document is going to have enough room for you to stamp. You don't know whether or not the document is going to be formatted in such a way that the whole notarial certificate part is going to be on one page, meaning it's not going to have the certificate part of the certificate on one page and then your signature and all of that on another. That's not a legal notarization. You got to be it all on the same page, so you need to use a loose certificate. Also, they might not have the certificate on there whatsoever. So, or there might be a few documents that need to be notarized and they don't have a certificate at all, or they may have the wrong certificate for it. In other words, you might see something that has an affidavit to it. That's an affidavit, and it has more so an acknowledgement certificate. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you do it right. So once I got there, and also make sure you double check with them ahead of time whether or not everybody has the proper ID. If everybody has the proper ID, you're good. You got your time. Everybody got the ID. You show up, you have your clipboards, you got your certificates. Once you get there, you do your normal check-in with whoever you're supposed to meet up with. And a lot of times, if you're going to the maternity ward, you got to check in at the front desk. Make sure you have everybody's name, who you need to tell them who you're there for. And then you get put in, and then you get let into the ward or the maternity area. After that, you're meeting with the person, and then you just sitting there listening to what they got going on and how they want to flow. You don't come in there like it's a loan closing saying, "Okay, let's sit down, bam, all right, peace, I'm gone." No, you gotta take this you gotta take this with a lot of care and concern, because you're dealing with somebody's child. And in my personal opinion, this is more important than a loan closing. Reason why is because you're dealing with a life. You're dealing with somebody's child. Somebody, for whatever reason, is allowing somebody else to raise their child through the avenue of adoption. So you don't want to come in there all flippant. You don't want to come in there all cavalry and, I'm like a gunslinger. You just want to come in there and say, okay, how do y'all need me to support y'all in this transaction? That's all you got to do. It's not about you trying to shine and exploit and brag about this and that and the other and flipping out business cards and everything to every single person. You just go in there, read the room, figure out what's going on. It could be a very stressful time for that young lady and her partner. It could be parents involved, the grandparents of the baby. It could be anything. You don't know. So in this case, it was just a young couple, male and female, giving their child up for adoption to another couple. The caseworker was there and she guided everything. I just followed her lead. Well, the caseworker had to have the attorney on the phone. The attorney was on the phone, and you need to introduce yourself to the attorney. So in this case, especially the attorney is physically there, but it was on the phone. So they had the phone. I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Griff the Notary, ... And here's 2 questions that you need to ask. One of them you may not need to ask, and I'll explain why. But the 2 questions you need to ask them is this. First off, what color ink do you want them signing in, blue or black? Because they may have a requirement for it to be in blue. Yes, because even though it's not a loan closing, they still may have that requirement. Then the second question, and you may not have to ask this if you get the documents ahead of time, but if you don't, you ask this question here. Are there any affidavits in here that they need to be sworn in on? And when you do that, you're letting that lawyer know that you're on top of it. You're on your game. And then you do the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury for whatever state or commonwealth that the answers you give to any affidavits are true to the best of your knowledge, however you so desire to do it. That's one of the ways that I do it. But the NNA has a very, very nice video, about 5 minutes long, I think, that also explains it. Or you can talk to your state. So don't hit me in the comments, well, that ain't the right way to do it, Griff. You have to administer it. There aren't too many people out there that say you best do it this way, that way, the other. And the reason why I said that, because a lot of you aren't doing it. So you shouldn't be in my comments talking about I'm doing the oath wrong when the majority of the people aren't doing it at all anyway. But you do need to do it, because if you don't, the notarization is invalid, period. And if you don't believe me, talk to Matt Miller, California League of Notaries. He will tell you. Talk to the NNA. They will tell you, period. Talk to Laura Brewer. Talk to Bill Soroka. Talk to anybody who's a real trainer out there that knows the laws. They will tell you, you gotta do the oath, okay? Period. So you do that. That's going to impress the attorney. While you're doing this, you sit back and you just make sure you witness the signatures like you're supposed to. He signed, she signed, they signed, I do mine, stamp, and you keep it going. It's that simple. Now, the caseworker, she was trying to do a lot. So she had 2 phones also, like I have, and she was there with the phone talking to the lawyer, trying to write some stuff. And I said, and I just took the phone from her. I said, I got you. And I just took the phone so she could do her thing, and then I made sure the lawyer could see everybody signing. And then once they did their part, and then I actually was, because they were still signing, I was able to, I had my clipboard, sign, and bam, stamp, and do my thing. So you have to read the room to figure out, do you need to help the caseworker? Do you need to provide some kind of help? Because it's a very stressful time. Because they don't want somebody to back out. You don't want this process to look discombobulated and confusing and all of that, because you don't know what's been promised. Now, give you a little backstory as to why it ended up being very crucial that I helped her, the caseworker. Come to find out, she had a flat tire. Her whole front tire just blew like it had been through a daggone shredder. So that made her late. So she was already hyped up and stressed because she was planning on going back home. Come to find out, well, based off of that and how late we had to be there, she was going to have to spend money to be in a hotel. I'm pretty sure that her company was going to reimburse her, but it was just still the whole stress of the thing. So here it is Saturday night. She might have wanted to go home, be with her family, and she probably wasn't going to be able to do that because she was going to be too tired to drive. And it was about a 2 hour or so drive back to where she had to go. So she drove 2 hours from another part of Virginia down to Virginia Beach to do this adoption for this couple. And the couple who came down, they drove about the same amount of distance for the adoption also. So my role in this was a little bit more critical than I expected. I had to really watch and pay attention to what was going on. Now, this is where your journal comes in at. In some cases, some adoption cases, the parents can't know anything about each other. So when you do, and this is a good reason why you need to have the integrity journal, because on each page, here and here, this is for one set of couples or one signing, okay? And you got 4 spots up there, and you got the mother, the father, or the partner, and then the person, the caseworker, because they have documents they have to sign to be notarized. And then you do all of that on one. And then when you get to the other customer, the other client, the adopting parents, you flip the page, and then you put their information right here. So you do not want to have both parties on the same notary thing, because then they can see the other person, see their name or phone number. Well, no, not the phone number, but at least their name, address, or something. You know what I'm saying? Whoever, you see their driver's license. Yeah, the address is on there. So you don't want to do that. So that's why the integrity journal is a good option to do, and the link will be in the description below. Also, make sure you have plenty of clipboards, plenty of pens, all of that. Now, some of you may use Jurat ink, the online journal, and that will be cool to do because I have an account with them. In this case, I didn't need to use it for this, but you may need to use something like an online journal if your state allows it. So having an account with Jurat, you can click on the link in this description, and then you get yourself set up to where you have that option to where everything is confidential. So you do yours, you do yours, and nobody sees the other. That is very critical, and that's not even something you need to ask. That's just something you should do, okay? So we had 39 notarizations. I do a $20 travel fee. Y'all figure the dollar amount out. That's how much I charge them. Now, there will be people who will hear what I said just now, and they will hop in all kind of Facebook groups and other social media groups, and maybe even public, and say, you should be charging $500, $700, or whatever. You do you. You do you, okay? Let me charge what I charge. I let you charge what you charge. And let's see who doesn't get their commission taken away or get put in jail for defrauding the customer. It's that simple. You charge whatever it is you feel you need to charge in accordance with your state guidelines, and that's all I did. $5 a signature, $20 travel fee. I made money. Just my time was there. I was there probably a little more than an hour, and made some money and kept it going and made a great connection, because guess who they're going to call the next time they have an adoption in this area? Boom. The woman would have paid whatever I told her because she needed it done. I could have told her 1,000. More than likely she would have paid it, but guess what? I probably would never get another phone call from them whatsoever. So this is about the long game, people, not the little quick fix so you can brag on Facebook and Instagram. And then do this one adoption, and then start a course about it and charging people $75 to take your course on how to do adoption papers. And y'all should not be paying anybody, because all it is just notarizing the pages. And if you understand how to notarize, there's nothing for you. And we do not prepare those documents. So anybody's trying to teach you how I'm going to teach you how to prepare adoption run. Get away from them. Do not listen to them whatsoever. they're lying to you. Okay, period. That's that notary pyramid scheme. I can teach you how to train, to train people, to do adoption papers. Notary pyramid scheme. So afterwards, she paid me and I rolled on out. Everything was smooth. I was a little tired, but you got to make sure you have your seat cushion because you do a lot of sitting. And it's just a matter of just sitting there and letting them do their thing. This isn't a loan closing where you're sort of running the show and you're trying to guide it. You are just following along with the caseworker to make sure everything goes smooth. They're not looking for the notary to come in there and save the day. Okay, everything is already laid out. They got the documents. Boom, they sign, you notarize. They sign, you notarize. In this case also was very unique, was that the adopting parents couldn't come up both at the same time. They had to send one of them up at the time because they didn't have anybody to watch the children. They already had kids, so there was no one to watch the kids. So the wife came up, signed with her, boom. The husband came up, signed with him, boom. That's how I had to flow. Yes, it made it take a little longer, but it is what it is. I made money, I made a connection. That's all that matters. So to summarize, doing an adoption is no different than you doing any other notarization. You just need to make sure you have certificates for jurats as well as acknowledgments. You need to make sure you have clipboards. You need to make sure your journal has plenty open pages to it. You need to make sure that you got pens. You got to make sure your pens, all of that. Talk to the attorney who's there. Introduce yourself. Ask them what color ink and whether or not there's affidavits if you don't already know whether or not there are affidavits. And asking the caseworker, they may not really understand the affidavit thing. So all you need to do is talk to the attorney. The attorney was only there for the couple that was giving up their rights to the baby. For the parents or the couple that was receiving the baby, that was actually adopting the baby, there was no attorney involved. Why? I have no idea, didn't ask. So you do that with the attorney, and then you sit back and you just follow the lead of the caseworker and make sure everything gets notarized. No fussing, no nothing, just, and then help them make sure they keep the paperwork in order, hold the phone if you need to, or however it's done, and just be as professional as you can. And then at the end, you get paid, you roll on out. That's when you can give your business card. But in the beginning, all of that, if there's a small time slot or they ask for, okay, here you go. And in my case, at the beginning when we first met, they was doing some stuff and they was talking to an attorney. Me and her was talking, and I was able to give her, and I saw a window. I said, let me make sure you have my card. And she said, no problem. And I gave her my card. She gave me hers. We was good to go. But if depending on the situation and the focus of the person, you might have to wait to the end because they're not thinking about that now. You got to figure out when the best time to market yourself. And when you leave, give the cards. Make sure you give your card to the nurses there in case somebody else comes up there looking for a notary. That's how you market yourself. That's one of the ways you can take advantage of it. So I hope I was able to explain stuff clearly to you. It might have been seemed like a little bit all over the place. Listen to the video again. Give me your comments in the comment section below. Hit the thumb buttons. Like the video, share it. And that's it. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.